Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to Think Tank, the podcast. Hope you've been enjoying these podcasts. And Mary Gamba, my colleague, is going to tell you in just a second how to check out past podcasts, because a lot of people want to do this on demand. But we're at the East Main Media Studio, and I'm joined by my colleague, Mary Gamba, and also our longtime senior producer of Think Tank, the broadcast, Nicole Swennerton. How you doing, ladies?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is a compelling program with Joe Clementi, co-founder of the Clementi Foundation. But real quick, Mary, let folks know how I can check out previous podcasts and all of our stuff.
Absolutely. To hear more Think Tank podcasts, you could subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on Google Play, or you can visit our website at steveadubato.org. That's ADUBATO. And you could also follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato and on Facebook at Steve Adubato PhD to check out our amazing content.
Real quick, hey, Brian, help people understand this. Apple changed their name?
Sure. Well, Apple's made some changes, and they've retired or sunsetted the iTunes brand. And basically, if you're on an Apple device, you can call up the app that is Apple Podcasts, and that's where you want to subscribe. Currently, it's a little purple icon, and that's where you can subscribe to this podcast.
Thank you very much, Brian, from East Main Media. All right, so listen, I remember meeting Joe Clementi and his wife many years ago. All right, let's set up the story. Their son, Tyler Clementi, a student at Rutgers University. He's in his freshman year. It's 2010. He asks his dorm roommate for some privacy because he has a date. He happened to be gay. The roommate really did something horrible. He videotaped what happened between Tyler and this other man. He somehow, and if I'm wrong, help me on this, he put it out. He put it out, and when Tyler found out about it, Tyler confronted him and asked him not to do it again. He threatened to do it again. Soon after the initial incident, Tyler Clementi, who was bullied, who was abused, who was mocked, who was ridiculed on the campus of my alma mater, Rutgers University, a few days later went to the George Washington Bridge and committed suicide. His parents, distraught, decided to create a foundation to do what, Nicole Swennerton?
To combat the pervasive issue that our country is facing of bullying.
How bad do you think it is?
I think it's really bad. And I think that social media and technology have only made it worse over the years.
Now, you're just a few years out of university life at a different university. To what degree do you think the Tyler Clementi situation, the fact that he killed himself because of this, and someone might say, well, he had other issues. Put it this way, it didn't help. What impact do you think it's had, if at all, on the degree of online cyberbullying that's so abusive and dangerous?
Unfortunately, I don't think much has changed. I was a sophomore in high school when this happened, and it affected my whole high school, and we all kind of were scared looking towards college, saying, oh my God, this place seems really scary, people are mean, and then going into college, you know, bullying just never stops. And people don't understand how affected people can be from their words and their actions. So unfortunately, I don't think that is going to stop anytime soon. But there are things that we can do to try to teach kids from a very, very young age how important it is to be kind to others.
And to Nicole's point, Mary, that's exactly what the Tyler Clementi Foundation is all about, right?
Absolutely. It's all about ending bullying. It's about awareness and prevention, definitely making sure that young adults understand the impact of their words, their actions. And as Nicole said, when it comes down to social media, everything is seen by everyone. So to think before you post, I think that's one of the most important lessons that I teach my 14 and 17-year-old. Think before you post, not only for yourself as you're going into college, because college recruiters can see everything, but also what damage your words that you think are funny may have on someone else.
Final words on my end. This conversation with Joe Clementi, the co-founder of the Tyler Clementi Foundation, it's part of an ongoing series we've been doing with the support of the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, very much committed to ending bullying, confronting it, dealing with it. But I will say, your two boys are 17 and
14.
Ours are, as we do this program, 14 and 16. And our older son, Nick, you know, we've talked to him forever about bullying and why it's wrong. And recently, I'm not going to go into the details, he was engaged in a bullying incident where he was the perpetrator. He did it. And it wasn't cyber, but it was real. And it hurt another young man. And things got worked out, and a lot of apologies went back and forth. But I tried to explain to him that it doesn't always work out that way, and you don't actually know what's going on in the heart and mind of another young man or a young woman. It is wrong on every level. It is zero tolerance when it comes to bullying. And that's what Joe Clementi, who could have crawled in bed, he and his wife put the covers over their head and said, we're out. We lost our son. We have nothing to contribute. But that's not what they've done, and that's what this podcast is about. This is Joe Clementi, the co-founder of the Tyler Clementi Foundation on Think Tank, the podcast. This is Steve Adubato. This is a really important one. Check it out. Welcome back to Think Tank. I'm Steve Adubato. We continue the conversation on breaking the cycle, youth and teen bullying and abuse. We're joined by our good friend, Joe Clementi, who is the co-founder of the Tyler Clementi Foundation. Good to see you, Joe.
Good to see you, Steve.
Last time we saw each other was at the Raspberry Awards for Making a Difference.
That's right.
Powerful conversation we had with you, and we wanted to have you back here. Tyler was 18 years of age, a student at Rutgers.
He was.
2010. Talk to us. People hear it, but they don't understand it or know it.
Well, Tyler was a gay young man who had just come out a couple of days before he left for college at Rutgers University. And during that time, at those first couple of weeks at Rutgers, he was webcammed by a student at the dorm in an embarrassing situation with another man. And a couple of days after that, we had found out he had died by suicide. Naturally, after that, there was an investigation, and there was a trial, and there was all series of things that happened that were very difficult on the family and on everybody. And for some reason, Tyler's story seemed to make the media more than the other three people that died similarly due to bullying that month and that year.
Joe, social media is a part of this. Technology is a part of it. Teen bullying and abuse. But what's the biggest lesson that not only that you and your family have taken, but that you want to share with our audience about breaking the cycle, given what happened to Tyler and to so many others?
In order to break the cycle, people have to pledge that they won't engage in bullying, and they have to recognize bullying. Sometimes we do things and we don't recognize what it is, and other people don't call us on it. So don't be afraid to call somebody on it.
Okay, so this thing, by the way, we're talking to Joe Clementi, the co-founder of the Tyler Clementi Foundation. The upstander pledge is what and why does it matter?
Well, we developed that early on at the foundation in order to get people to make a commitment to not bully, and if they see bullying, to recognize it and to either take an action to either intervene or to tell somebody else about it, because these were the weaknesses we saw with Tyler and what his experience and what happened to him at the university. Many people knew he was being webcammed in advance, but nobody did anything.
Back up. Many people, students, possibly others, we don't know, knew that this was happening. He was being webcammed. His privacy was being violated. He was being humiliated, abused, bullied, and nothing?
Nothing. This came out in the trial, and we learned that the soccer team knew about it, people off campus knew about it. Naturally, some of the people, not all, but some of the people in the dorm who were close to the perpetrator were aware of it, and nobody took an action to actually stop it.
No upstanders.
Right.
Nobody stood up.
Right.
So we tell our kids to stand up for themselves if they are bullied, harassed. It's not enough, is it?
Well, some kids can do that, but some can't.
But it's okay, but it's not enough for us to tell our teenage boys, stand up for yourself. It is stand up for others.
That's right. Because others, not everybody can stand up for themselves. Sometimes it takes other people to help. That's why the pledge is so important. That's why our work at the foundation. We have now a million upstander movement, which by the 10th anniversary of Tyler's death, we're looking to generate 1 million takers of the upstander pledge, and we're at 140,000 right now.
Wow. How much progress are we making in terms of breaking this cycle, Joe?
You know, we're making progress, and it's a kind of a difficult thing to measure, but I think that the younger folks are more advanced than some of the older folks.
Are schools getting better at this?
Yeah, I think they are.
They are?
I think they are.
By what? Being more aggressive, more assertive? I don't want to assume.
I think that the kids themselves, I see changes in the way they interact with each other. And I'm not around a lot of children all the time. I don't have young children anymore.
Yeah.
But you know, this new generation that's out there, they seem to be a little kinder to each other. They seem to recognize that people can have differences and that it's okay.
Yeah, but Joe Clementi, here's the other part of this. That may be true for younger people, but is it fair to say that in the current national environment we are in, the political environment, the kind of discourse and the divisiveness that is going on, that potentially that the LGBTQ community, particularly for teens, that they are more of a target, or am I making too much of that?
I see the discourse that you're talking about, and that's never a good idea to have discourse. And I think that what people have to act as adults, and certainly it makes it a kind of a worse situation for teens. But I think the teens know. I think they know themselves and can handle themselves. I think it's the adults really that have the problem.
What do you mean? Wait, hold on. Particularly with LGBTQ youth, we have the problem?
I think the adults need more training than the kids. I think the kids are getting the training that they need to a great extent. I think they could always use more, and we always have to work at it.
Right.
But I think the adults in the workplace and things like that, I think that's where some
Real
work
quick,
needs
minute
to be
left,
done.
Joe. Steve Adubato, Joe Clementi. This is Think Tank. You're also watching us on the air, but also the podcast as well. Here's my question, advice for parents right now. They want to protect their children, but they also want to make sure that their children are supportive of other children, you say?
Go to our website, look at the tools that
It's
are
up
on
there
our
right
website.
now. Put it up, team. Go ahead.
Look at the tools that are on our website and use the tools. If you have any questions, call us. Jane is very approachable. Jane's involved with the foundation on a daily basis. And
Tell everyone who
we'll-
Jane is.
We'll help you. I'm sorry.
Tell Jane.
Tell Jane. Talk to Jane. She's very approachable, and she'll help you any way that she possibly can. We can come to your school, your workplace. She does that herself. My son James does some of that, and we have other folks that get involved with that as well.
Before I let you go, Joe, I just want to say this. We've known each other for a while. We've had a few conversations. I don't think anyone watching right now can, unless they've experienced it personally, can understand or even try to understand what you and your family have gone through. The fact that you and your family are doing this work, you didn't have to. You're helping a lot of other people. Just want to say thanks.
Well, you're welcome. We couldn't have it any other way.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Adubato. This has been Think Tank. Thank you for watching us. We just want you to think about things that matter. We'll see you next time.
Think Tank with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of Think Tank with Steve Adubato has been provided by Holy Name Medical Center, New Jersey Sharing Network, the New Jersey Education Association, the Russell Berry Foundation, the Turrell Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, NJM Insurance Group, and by Georgian Court University. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.